I want you to imagine that you are a brand new grandma and you are so excited to bond with this baby. But the baby mama, she's got some really, really weird, strict boundaries. Like no kissing the baby, hold the baby this way. She watches you like a hawk and corrects you while you're holding this baby, even though you've raised babies. Strict visiting hours, like it's a lot. It's actually hindering how you're bonding with this baby. And then one day, you finally relax just a little bit. Even though you know she's watching you, you kind of get wrapped up in like all the baby things, the smell, the weight on your chest, the stretches, we know. And you get wrapped up in the moment and you accidentally kiss the baby's head and boom, you're cut off from your grandchild. So some time went on, you finally negotiated to have a meeting, so you all come together for this meeting, and at this meeting, you felt like it would be a good opportunity to express your frustrations. Like you just wanted the baby mama to know, like these rules, like they're not necessary. Like I know how to hold a baby, like it's okay if you kiss a baby, and the visiting hours are so strict. Like it really doesn't seem like you're considering anybody beside yourself. And so she was trying really nicely, but it wasn't getting through. Like you can tell when someone's just like, oh my gosh, so it wasn't getting through to the baby mama. So she's starting to get really, really worked up as she's really trying so hard to get the baby mama to understand. And she all of a sudden accidentally lets it slip what she thinks about the baby mama. And she calls her a narcissist. As you can imagine, the meeting is over and it's been silent ever since. Now she's reaching out to us, completely devastated, completely heartbroken. She was trying her best. She truly was not trying to be mean. She didn't want a name call, but she did, and she wants our help. Okay, first of all, I want to say I am so sorry. Like, my kids are 15 and 16, and I even have a vision of what it's going to be like to be a grandma. Like, I'm excited. I mean, even though it's going to look different than my fantasy, we all have these ideas of what it's going to look like, and it's really hard when it looks nothing like we imagined it. So I know that that's very frustrating, and I'm sorry. And your son and his girlfriend, the baby mama, they are the gatekeepers, and they have every right to have these boundaries. Like, we don't know if the baby mama, she might be really nervous about germs. She might really just have some maybe anxiety in how she structures her day that helps her control her anxiety. Plus, just like having a routine, especially when the kids are little or our babies are little, it just helps us like keep our sanity. So one thing I want to make sure you're very clear on is that the baby mama's boundaries are about her and how she functions best as a mom to this baby and as a partner to your son. It's not really about you. And so I don't want you to take it personal. I don't want you to think she's trying to push you out. She thinks you're incapable of holding her baby. I mean, she's a brand new mommy. And I mean, I remember thinking things like, you forget that they raised kids and you're just like looking at them holding your child, and you just like, you slip up and you're just like, oh no, hold the head. It's like, yeah, I had 6 kids. Like I know how to hold the head. But I remember making these comments thinking, oh yeah, my mom had 6 kids. What am I talking about? But I just want to make sure it's about the baby mama. Her boundaries are not about you. The second thing I want to bring up before I give you my insight is the fact that, and I'm saying this very gently, the fact that you did resort to name calling, and I understand how frustrating that is when you're trying to have a heartfelt talk with somebody and you're so frustrated and you're feeling so desperate at the same time. Like, just, I want this to get out right because I really also want to see the baby and I want this relationship with you guys. Like, you're so desperate, you're scared, but you also want to communicate this message that's not getting through. The fact that you resorted to name calling makes me wonder if there was other tension below and the kissing of the head was just the last straw. So that leads me to what I would do if this were happening to me. So if my son and his girlfriend, the baby mama, hadn't explicitly told me, don't reach out, so I can still like have contact, I would reach out to my son and I would say, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Like, I got so wrapped up in my experience in this whole thing that I resorted to name calling, and I am really sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I would apologize and I would ask, like, when, the baby mama, you'd say her name, when she is ready, I would really like to apologize to her. And just so you know, these are the things I'm working on. Like, so since that meeting, I've really had some time to self-reflect. These are the things I have to work on. And the main thing is I have to mind my role. Like, I'm grandma. You guys are the parents. So whatever you say goes, and I have to figure out, like, even if it's different than how I raised you, like, that's okay. Like, that's A-okay. And I have to find better ways to cope with that and respect that. So that's what I'm doing on the back end until she's ready to hear my apology. I just want you to know that. And if you need like extra help reflecting, or if you need just somebody to come alongside you and just kind of help you through this phase, like maybe you have to grieve a little bit of like the fantasy of what you thought it was going to be like to be a grandma. You're just kind of struggling with that. Maybe you have to just, you just talk through some of this and really have somebody help you learn some coping skills. Don't be afraid to talk to other grandparents that have been through this. Talk to a trusted friend that's neutral. They'll give you both sides. Another neutral party, you could talk to a spiritual leader. If you're involved in a church or some kind of a community, you can hire a professional. You can talk to a licensed therapist. Get people to support you through this. But I just want you to first, if you can, like this is what I would do if they haven't cut me off or said don't contact me, is I would apologize. And I would just really own what I did, and I would also tell them what I've reflected on thus far. And so it's not just like a blanket apology. I would get granular so they know, like, oh geez, mom's really reflecting and she's definitely like taking this serious. Those are just my thoughts. I don't know. What do you guys think?